G.W. Leibniz, who was a great philosopher, once said, "The first question which should fundamentally be asked is, why does anything exist rather than nothing?" He distinguished between two types of things that exist. Things that exist necessarily, which means they are things that have to exist and do not depend on anything else for their existence. And he distinguished between things that exist contingently, which is to say something that does not have to exist, could fail to exist, or depends on an external cause for its existence. So for example, something that is necessary, like a necessary truth, for example, 2 plus 2 equals 4, since it is necessary, it can't begin to exist, so it would make no sense to ask, when did 2 plus 2 start equaling 4? Or perhaps in the future, will we later on find out that 2 and 2 no longer equals 4, or if I travel to the other side of the universe, will 2 plus 2 no longer equal 4? This is a necessary truth. Contrast that with contingent truths, that is to say, things that don't have to exist. This building, perhaps yourself, if your parents would have met someone else or something would not have worked out, or perhaps even consummated on a different day, you probably would not exist. So there is nothing necessary about your existence. To give an analogy, let's say I had a gas tank and I needed some gas. So I go to person A and I say, could I borrow some gas? And he says, well, I don't have any, but let me talk to person B. Person B says the same thing, moves on to person C, and so forth. If eventually an hour later person A comes to me and offers me gas, he says, I got your gas, what this implies is that eventually, somewhere down the line, that there got to a point, a person, where this person did not have to borrow gas from somebody else, rather he had already had the gas and didn't need to ask, otherwise I would never get my gas. My point to that is for absolutely anything at all to exist, since we borrowed existence, me from my parents and so forth, for anything at all to exist, there has to have been some stopping point in the past that something has always existed and never borrowed existence from anything else. We call him God. That is what you call a necessary being. So for mere existence, as J.P. Moreland, philosopher, said, if God did not exist, nothing would exist because everything owes its existence to God in one way or another. That is to say, literally nothing would exist if God did not exist.